All right, so now I'm going to reinforce the inside of the coil pot. Basically what that's gonna do is give us a little extra strength towards that base to keep it strong. It's the part of the piece that will crack or could most likely have defects if we don't do it right. So I'm just gonna roll out a coil big enough to fit on the interior. Again, I always start my coil looking like a coil. So I squeeze the clay in my hands, spraying my work surface if it's dry or if I feel like my coil is starting to dry out. Sometimes what will happen as you roll a coil is it will get a little bit of a tunnel on the end, and it's quite common that will happen. Don't use those tunneled pieces, rip them off. They're not solid pieces of clay. So again, I'm just gonna roll out about a medium-sized coil. It fits in there. I'm gonna chop my ends off. Chop off any excess. And I'm just gonna roll it a little thinner. If your clay is sliding all over the place and you're spraying, you have too much water. So you don't need to spray unless you feel like your coil is getting dried out or your work surface is really dry. So I'm just gonna score this. I'm not gonna try and score on the inside because my tool really won't fit that well, and the clay is still wet at this point. I lied, I'm gonna try. I did it. So I'm just gonna put the scored side down. The ends are usually always the thinnest, so I try not to use them. The first thing I do is always compress the clay into the clay that I'm attaching it to before I even start to smear. Then I'm just going to reinforce by smearing into the bottom and then smearing up towards the edge. Again, supporting the walls as I go. All right, so it's all combined together, so now I'm just gonna spend a minute really making it look nice. Once I have it relatively smooth, I'm gonna start to refine my shape from the outside. So right now it's lumpy, it's bumpy looking. It's where the paddle comes in, and I'm just gonna, I've always paddled gently around the rim, and that's just to give my shape a nice even look. This is where it becomes hard when your piece is so low. You can also use a rib. Ribs that I recommend are the metal rib as well as the wood rib. So the metal rib is pretty flexible, so you can scrape up with that. And what we're looking for here is even on the outside, no coils showing through, no little ridges from pressing or pinching. And we're gonna keep doing this every 3 to 5 coils until we're finished building up the piece. All right, we have a pretty good start. In the next segment, I'm just gonna keep building it up and always referring back to my template that I created, as well as my negative space template that will kind of help me to make sure that I'm on track with how my form is looking. Okay.